to the people component, the politics component, and where people were not buying into what the ERP and reengineering programs were intended to do, because it threatened the way that they did their jobs and did their work on a day-to-day basis. That means they would have to like do a lobotomy on their old processes and adopt new ones. So he challenged me when I was the CMO of Arthur D. Little, which is a large management consulting firm, and we were doing a lot of ERP and reengineering work ourselves, as a matter of fact. He challenged me and said, if you guys could come up with a better approach to persuade and communicate with the stakeholders within a reengineering engagement, you will have a much higher success factor, and it will, you'll be able to create a path to your door as a company that would be able to successfully implement these reengineering programs. So we got together internally. We put together a program which ultimately became what we now call inward marketing, where if you're able to persuade your internal organizations to be educated, motivated, and inspired, and ultimately engaged, you will be able to effectively implement a change program inside the organization. And that's the origin behind all the things that we do in terms of interest redesign, but also includes post-merger integration, improving quality, launching a new brand, adopting new behaviors, and that's what it's all about. So with that introduction and background of the origin, let's move on to our model. About 30 years ago, now I'm giving away my age, I developed this model at Accenture, where I was the chief marketing officer there as well, before going to Arthur D. Little. And the challenge we had back then were that my partners really didn't understand the role of marketing. They were all rainmakers, and they felt that the way that they grew their business was by and large through referral and the business relationships that they had. And we decided as a company that we were going to launch a fairly significant branded advertising campaign to start opening up the flow of business opportunities and leads. But the partners just didn't get it. So we did a lot of research, and I came up with this model to explain to partners how to build an external advertising and marketing program. The first idea came out of something called the hierarchy of effects, and there was research that was done in the early 60s by Dagmar, Defining Advertising Goals and Research at the University of Illinois. And it basically says that to build an external marketing program, you have to go through 4 phases. You have to get a broad-based sense of awareness. You need to then develop some sense of consideration. And then from there, you have to have a preference for that point of view, for that product over everybody else. And then ultimately, you'll go out into the marketplace and find the right price at the right location, the right color, and you'll buy the product and make a sale. And it's very difficult for companies to go straight out and buy a product and just get it. There is an osmosis. There's a sequence that everybody goes through, much like a marriage. You just don't go up to a person and say, marry me. You have to have a romance. You have to go on dates. You have to take them to dinner, and so on and so forth. And then ultimately, after maybe a year or 2 years, you finally get down on your knees and you make a proposal, and you get married. The same thing is with the shopping. And what we've learned over the years from this research, that on discretionary kinds of purchases, the purchase funnel, the hierarchy of effects, is a very, very long process. Whereas if you're in a commodity product, the time that it takes to go from awareness to a sale could be instantaneous, like buying milk or sugar or salt, something of that nature. The key here is that you need to understand what is the objective that you're trying to achieve. Is it to close a sale, or is it to generate awareness, or is it some combination of an integrated plan to achieve a multiple levels of objectives? So that's the first idea. The second idea is something called the hierarchy of media, and this was the academic research that was done at Medill School at Evanston, Illinois, at the Northwestern University. And they came up with this notion in the mid-'80s of integrated marketing and communication strategies. integrated media. And so they basically said that there are different approaches, and even more so today with the internet, there are different approaches for generating the impact of the hierarchy of effects. So if you're trying to build awareness, you would use mass marketing and web marketing to get people aware of who you are, PR and things of that nature. To build consideration and preference, you would write written explanations, catalogs and special events and direct response to get at singular points of view. And then when building preference, it's built around shopper marketing, sales promotions, FSIs, couponing, and things of that nature. And then ultimately, when you're closing a sale, it's done through in-store displays, a positive customer experience, loyalty marketing incentives, and things of that nature. And the big mistake that was made in this program, or what companies do, is they think they could only invest in mass marketing and advertising and PR and expect that to drive a sale, or vice versa. They'll only do shopper marketing and displays and FSIs and expect that to drive awareness. There has to be a sequential order of integrated media to have the same impact, so it corresponds with the hierarchy of effects. And that comes down to coming down with what is your strategy? What is the combination of media and the internet and social media now, even more so today, that you're going to use to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself? The third concept is called the hierarchy of relevance. And the hierarchy of relevance was developed at the University of Texas in the mid to late 80s as a way of saying, how can you create a message that has a high level of relevancy and emotional connection to the buyer? And when you're doing external marketing programs, you usually start out with the attribute. Why is this product, what is the features and